Good. Thank you, Nancy. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Unity. Imagine that you have come into a special spiritual place, even if you're sitting in your living room. Because when we come together, open and receptive to the presence and power of God, we come together outside of time and outside of place. So, in some sense, we come into every church, every mosque, every ashram and monastery, and temple and stupa and sacred circle. We step into that. We join together with people everywhere in a celebration of our oneness. We claim, we affirm, our God is love, our race is human, our faith is oneness. So in that, we join in that oneness with all others. And we join in a oneness within ourselves. We bring in the whole of what we are, everything going on in our lives. We bring in the oneness of our being and our oneness with each other. So at this time, we bring up the prayer box as we bring up in our minds our particular needs and dreams and prayer requests and questions. We bring those up in our minds and hearts and keep them with us in this time. Holiday weekend. A lot of people looking forward to this. A lot of people look forward to every Friday afternoon. Okay? And don't look forward to Monday mornings. Research shows that the most common time for heart attacks to happen for people is Monday mornings. It says something about work, I guess, or about their satisfaction with work. Every year, most every Labor Day, every year, I talk about the distinction between jobs and work. This goes back to a comment that one of my teachers in seminary made. It was Reverend Marvin Anderson. And he said something like, pretty soon you're all going to be little ministers. You're going to go out to your churches and you're going to be doing your work. That's not your work. That's your job. Being a minister is your job, he said. Your work is to grow spiritually. Your work is to deepen your connection with God and with yourself and with others. That's everybody's work. That's why we're here. Deepen our connections with God, self, and others. So that's a revision of the great commandment of love God with all of your mind, heart, and strength. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Connect deeply with other people. Connect deeply with yourself. Connect deeply with the divine. That's our work. Don't have to be a minister to do that. Practice the presence of God. That's a title of a little book written by a monk named Brother Lawrence. He lived in a monastery. His job was to wash dishes. He was the dishwasher. And he wrote a profound, enduring classic about practicing the presence of God. So we can do that no matter what it is that we do for a job. I first had an inkling of that whenever I was working in a yoga retreat on Paradise Island in the Bahamas. And I was feeling very spiritual, kind of claiming my spirituality. And I offered to work, to volunteer there, to, well, stay in the Bahamas for free and work at the ashram. And they gave me the job of being the garbage man. I was a little disappointed in that. You know, I was a teacher. I had taught yoga for a long time. And I eventually came up with an affirmation that helped me. I am the garbage man. I am the garbage man, carrying the stuff. And it was like the I am in me was coming out in helping to recycle things and clean up. There's a Trappist monastery that I've gone to a number of times in Ava, Missouri, called Assumption Abbey. And every monastery or convent has some sort of way that, some sort of work that they do to create income to pay for their community. Here at the Abbey of the Genesee, it's baking bread. In Ava, same Trappist tradition, a contemplative tradition, to spend time in the silence, to spend time in prayer. At the Assumption Abbey in Ava, Missouri, their job was to make concrete blocks with incredibly loud machinery. But still, they practiced the presence. Still, they experienced a sense of silence. So our work is to connect with God within. Our jobs are the ways that we connect with the world, the ways we connect with others, and maybe the ways that we connect with the particular gifts and talents that our soul brings with it into this world. So the job is where we meet the responsibilities of our families and communities. It's the context where we love our neighbor, where we are connected with the world and with each other. So, even someone that's unemployed, even someone that's retired is using their time, their talents, their thoughts, their treasures to do something. The doing something with our body-mind system in the world is our job. Even if it's a hobby, even if it's volunteering somehow. Or deepening connections with others and with ourselves as well. So think about how do you do your spiritual work in your job, in your hobbies, in your volunteering, in your personal time. So it's a thought for Labor Day. One way that we can do our spiritual work for ourselves and for others is to pray for others. We've been doing a series through the summer on different healing techniques. This is the last Sunday in that series, and today's topic is praying for others. Healing prayer in the silent unity tradition for others. And in the process of praying for other people, we get blessed ourselves. If someone is sick, one of the best ways to help heal a person is for that person to pray for someone else's health. One of the most effective prosperity treatments, if you need some prosperity, is to pray for somebody else's prosperity. As we pray for somebody else, we open ourselves up to be a channel for that positive, life-giving, prospering, guiding energy to go to them, and it affects the conduit through which it flows. So, we've done some prayers for others. We talked about the Hawaiian healing tradition of Ho'oponopono that has 4 principles or attitudes or structures of mind that is based on compassion, forgiveness, blessing, and gratitude. When that's shared with someone, something happens. We talked about at another service the Tibetan Buddhist tradition of Tonglen, where you breathe in somebody's pain, you breathe in somebody's injury, and you breathe out a blessing. You breathe it in to not keep it, you breathe it in to turn it over to God, to let it pass through our hearts to the heart of God. We talked about the power of saying no, of casting out negativities. Last week we talked about the power of saying yes, the power of positive thought that is based on the spiritual energy that is called faith. The energy that we kind of experience is just knowing something deep in our hearts, deep in our whole being that we may not be able to explain, that we couldn't articulate even. But it's an inner knowing that we have. It's a power that enables us to hold on to thoughts. Because we know that the thoughts that we hold on to and imbue with energy are creative. Well, the power to hold on to thoughts we call the power of faith. And there are a lot of stories in the New Testament that end up with the punchline, your faith has made you well. Well, there are a couple where that is modified a little bit. There's a story of the paralytic who was carried on his stretcher by friends to Jesus to be healed. And it says, when Jesus saw their faith, he said to the paralytic, get up. Their faith made him well. Power of prayer. The power that we have to share healing energy with each other. There was a story of the Roman soldier, the centurion, who came to Jesus and said, my page, my assistant, my servant is sick. I know you could heal him. Come with me, and I know that he will be healed. And Jesus said, I don't have to come with you. Your faith is remarkable. He's well. Your faith has made him well. Okay, so that's what the silent unity healing method is based on. It's based on the power of our faith, our holding on to something mysterious, but yet tangible. We have that power within us. That's one of what in unity we call the 12 powers of humanity. We have 12 candles up here to kind of acknowledge them. We have 11 powers up here. Let's make it 12. Oh, we might have to get another symbol for that. Uh-huh. Oh, well. Okay. We're talking about this one. It's active even though there's no light on it. We're talking about the power of faith. We use that to prosper, to heal physically, to establish harmony, for guidance, for peace, for justice. So what is it that you could use more of in your life today? Okay? Who is it that could use more of that in their life today? For whom might you pray? So we're going to use that spiritual power. We're going to use the power of faith. Now, in this silent unity healing method, it's not complicated. There's 2 simple steps in it. Establish the consciousness. Establish in your consciousness the spiritual quality that you want. Establish in your consciousness the quality of God that will meet that need. And then connect with somebody. Connect that consciousness with somebody else. Just 2 steps. Establish the consciousness within yourself and then share that with somebody else. Now, there are a lot of different traditions, different ways of... Bring it up, Bernie. Good, thank you. Oh, this is a big wick here. The power of faith. There are a lot of different techniques for connecting with others, this consciousness. Most healing traditions, most healing modalities have an establishment of consciousness as part of it. Okay, and in some, it's like you speak the word to them. You say something. In other traditions, you touch them. Healing hands, the power of touch. We don't do that. Well, we do. There's a story back in, I guess it was in the 70s. There was a unity minister who, I think she was still in ministerial school, who did a healing service and had people come up so she could lay hands on them. And she was told, "We don't do that in Unity." And she had the thought, really? Well, this is something that I do in my ministry. This is something that I do in Unity. And Johnny Coleman ended up leaving Unity and forming her own ministry. There was reconciliation a little bit later on. But because even in Unity, even in something as open-minded and open-ended as Unity, there's still some rigid thinking about it has to be done just like this. Well, because it's worked. Well, what's worked? Okay, so we're going to do the way that it has been done. Establish the consciousness of life, and then connect that consciousness of life, that spiritual energy, with somebody in need for healing. It's kind of like extending a blessing, radiating it out. I talked before about the way that works is when we establish a consciousness, we're radiating that spiritual energy. And because we are all one, because we all have that same identical presence of God within us, other people resonate with it. We can feel the energy from each other. And we can extend that energy and influence somebody. So that's the way it works. In Unity, they would establish that consciousness around a prayer request and then compose a letter, send a letter to them, speak a word of truth to them on the phone or in a prayer session, person to person. Three categories of consciousness that we're going to talk about to simplify 12 plus the Christ, all down into three easy ones: light, love, and life. Light, guidance, understanding, imagination, enthusiasm. Love, the connecting energy that binds us together in humanity, the connecting energy that holds us in the universe in abundance, in prosperity. Love is the energy that establishes harmony, establishes order, establishes justice. That's the power of love. And then the power of life, radiant life, strong, is strength, balance, vitality, energy, release. So, we're going to have a practice time with that. Our meditation time is a time of healing prayer. Okay, you can start the time of healing prayer based on the silent unity tradition. Establish the consciousness of the spiritual quality that meets your needs, and then connect in some way with someone who can benefit from that consciousness. When we connect with that consciousness ourselves, we can be transformed. We are affected. And it's even more powerful if we open ourselves to let that energy move out to someone else. So, for whom would you pray today? We've certainly heard enough things on the news that are needing in prayer. Prayers for light or love or life. Prayers for healing, for guidance, for prosperity and justice and order. Let's make this real, not hypothetical. So we begin with light. So even though we close our eyes, there's still a perception of light. It's a reminder that the light of God is constant. The light of God surrounds us. The light of God is intelligence and understanding. The light of God brings clarity to our thinking. The light of God allows us to imagine and be enthusiastic. The light of God is a deep knowing. Feel the light of God in your mind. Notice that the light of God is involved with your thinking and your remembering. The light of God is available for your deciding. The light of God surrounds us. You might claim that for yourself. The light of God surrounds me, guides me, teaches me, inspires me. With whom would you share this light? I'm going to say the light of God surrounds you, politicians, leaders, family and friends that have decisions to make. The light of God surrounds you. We extend that light to them, or we bring them here with us into this light right where we are. The light of God surrounds you, and you know what to do. You can choose wisely. We give thanks for the light of God. We give thanks for the many ways that light blesses us and all others. And now we open ourselves to the love of God. We've had an experience of love, of deep connections. That's a taste of the love of God. You might imagine your mind dropping down into your heart. You might imagine you're being embraced, enfolded in God's love, an unconditional love that holds you warmly, securely. eternally. The love of God enfolds me. Try on those words. The love of God enfolds me. Establish the consciousness of divine love. And in that love is the gift of order. All things working together for good. The love of God enfolds me. And justice is established. The love of God connects us with the abundance of the universe, and we are prospered. Prosperity is the fruit of God's love. Harmony, peace. Centered in the love of God, we allow to come to mind those for whom we would pray for the benefits of God's love. Who is it that needs justice? Where is there a need for order, for prosperity, harmony, and peace? Let me declare, the love of God enfolds you. The love of God enfolds you. Establishing prosperity, harmony, justice, and peace. The love of God enfolds you. The love of God enfolds us. And we are grateful. Thank you, God. The life of God is present with every breath. Every time we inhale, God is breathing life into this clay that we're made of. The life of God moves through every cell and tissue of our bodies with power and with purpose, establishing strength and balance, vitality, endurance, and deep renewal. You might claim that you're alive with the life of God. I am alive with the life of God. Divine life is moving powerfully and purposefully in and through me. So feel a radiance in your whole body-mind system. And draw into that radiance someone in need of healing, someone in pain. Radiate out that energy of divine life into hospitals, nursing homes, bedrooms. You are alive with the life of God, we say to them. God's life is moving through you with power and purpose, and all is well. We give thanks. We give thanks for the wisdom shared with us. We give thanks for the energy present within us and around us. We give thanks that all is well. We give thanks that it is done. We sit for a moment in that gratitude and allow the melody of a version of the Lord's Prayer to bring a sense of completion to this time of prayer, healing prayer for ourselves and others. So it is. Aho. Now as we prepare to move from this spiritual time out into whatever it is we have scheduled for today and this week. We take this spiritual time with us. We take this energy with us as a blessing, as an openness to continue to be blessed as we give of ourselves, as we give of our time and our talents and our treasure in the many ways that we work, in the many ways that we share our time as jobs. A love offering blessing that seems right for me today is, I give joyfully and easily, for God is my source and abundance is my nature. We give joyfully and easily as the source because abundance is our nature. Perfect life is our nature. Guiding light is our nature. And as that source, we give joyfully and easily. And we give a blessing now. We conclude with the words of the prayer for protection for us and with the song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. So, joining hands, joining hearts with our family, friends, with our neighbors, with our community, and around the world, joining hands throughout time with those that have come before us and those who are following us. We declare the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let there be peace. Peace, peace, peace.